Hello everyone, welcome to Musicians Edition. I'm Evan on the keys with another piano video. I wanted to dive more into building independence between your hands. And a common struggle for piano players, because it's a critical piece of being able to play complex stuff with left and right hand going on, which is what sounds the coolest on piano, of course. I'll be doing a few videos on this because there's a lot we can do to build this up, and it's very important to get past the hump and learn songs much quicker. And in this video, we're going to work on that by using scales. So we should all know scales. Yes, they may not be fun. They're a necessary part, and playing them with one hand at a time is a very typical exercise you'll be given and spend a lot of time on with a teacher, for better or worse. And that's our typical C major scale, of course, and then we can move on to other notes. D major and all the way up and down, and that's, of course, a pretty droning part and notorious part of becoming a piano player is playing your scales. But we can build these up in various ways with both hands at a time to make them challenging, more fun, and much better for our hand independence, which is going to be a huge tool for us as players. First, playing them in one direction together is a great exercise to work on that beginner hand independence. Biggest thing is knowing when to tuck each thumb and jump over with your middle finger because they're not necessarily in sync. So each hand at a time, we have that tuck there after the third note we play with the right hand. With the left hand, you don't jump until after the fifth note. So they come in at different times. So together, that's what you end up with. And so that's C major, of course, so we can play that much quicker. Once we have that down, we can move on to other scales. So we can go to D major next and just keep working our way up. So for D major, we got to be aware of the F sharp and C sharp, which is going to make this a bit trickier, but we can do it. And same with E major. That, and we can keep going up across the piano. It's definitely a great tool to be able to know all your scales like that. We can do major, we can do minor ones as well too. Starting from C with all these, just so you can get comfortable playing all those white keys, but you always want to be comfortable moving to those black keys as well too, because a lot of pieces will obviously have those included, so it's good to be prepared. Next, that's left to right and right to left at the same time. We can mix up the direction we play as well too. And so what we can do is start with both pinkies playing on a C, and we're going to have them work together to come to this middle C here. So this is pretty easy on C because it's just pinkies, rings, middles, index, thumbs, and then they both jump at the same time. We can have our thumbs share C there and we work our way back. And that's very easy. And then we can do to make this trickier is by moving to other scales, because we're going to have some black keys that don't really match up well, and D is a great example of one that's actually pretty tricky, because we want to be prepared for, again, F sharp and C sharp and D, but they don't play at the same time. So I'm going to have my right hand be playing a black key while the left is still on white, and then they switch, and then sometimes they're both on a white key. So that's going to be more like this. So pretty tricky, and we can go a bit quicker with that. And that one's pretty tough to get down. We can keep on moving up to E major. I think E is actually easier because it's always black keys playing at the same time, just different ones, but you'll see. White key, black key, black key, white key, white key, black key, black key, back to E, and same thing back. That's easier, but D was tougher because we have that mix-up of one hand playing one, the other one playing the other ones. That's where this is. That's a really good scale to practice with this opposite direction one, instead of these ones that are just so easy of like C, all white keys, or E with black keys at the same time, white keys at the same time. The ones like D are a really good mix of that. And next we can play one that's going to be slightly delayed from the other. So what I usually start off with is I'm going to have one hand be playing two notes ahead from the other. So that's going to be, for example, we can have right hand be our leading one first, and so if it's two notes ahead, I'm going to play two notes here before I even start with the left hand. When I hit E, that's when the left hand's going to start playing, and then they'll play like this. And what we end up with is the left hand having 2 extra notes to play at the end because the right hand started 2 notes ahead before the left hand played anything there. So one more time. And 1, 2 at the end there. And then we can switch which hand is going to be the lead. So if I want my left hand to be the lead this time, it's going to play 2 notes before the right comes in, and my right's going to finish off with 2 extra at the end, like this. 1, 2 left over there. And we don't have to always have it be 2 notes. Sometimes maybe we can just do 1 note, and so I'm going to have the, for example, I'll have the right lead and the left hand will come in on D. And that left hand has 1 extra note at the end. Or I can do it from F as well too, where I'm going to come in all the way and left hand isn't coming until F, and we can keep working our way up like that as well too. And that is it for that one. So that is having one hand be ahead of the other. And next up we can do a bit of 2-for-1s or even 3-for-1s, where I'm going to have one hand play twice as fast as the other or 3 times as fast as the other. So for example, if I want my right hand to be the quicker one here, and for this I'm going to actually go to a separate octave, so they're not going to meet in the middle on this one, because that makes it get a little bit harder, I think, if they have to share a note on this one. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 2-for-1 first, where I'm going to have my right hand be the quicker hand. They both start at the same time, but the right hand's going to go twice as fast, playing 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way. And you see it's twice as fast, so the right hand made a full there and back, while the left hand only made it up to C once. And then we can work our way back. And then they both end up at C. The right hand made 2 laps, the left hand just made that 1 lap there. And we can switch which hand's going to be our quicker hand, of course. We're going to be able to do that, and this is really difficult to switch from right to left quickly and kind of go back and forth of right lead, left lead. But once you do get the hang of that, it's very handy to have down. So if I have my left hand be the quicker one, they're both going to start on C, and then I'm going to have the left hand go twice as fast. And they both end up at C right there too. And that's it for that one that is 2-for-1s. Right hand being the twice as fast one, or left hand being the twice as fast one. Just like with all these, we can move on to different scales if we want to, but this one is pretty challenging by itself, so make sure you have it down, and then you can progress across the scales with D major with the F sharp and C sharp and so on. And then we can also add, instead of just 2-for-1s, we can do 3-for-1s even, where my quicker hand is going to go 3 times as fast, so it's going to play 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, while the left hand is playing just on those ones there. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and so on like that. We can progress across the scale in the same way. And so that is how we can have different rhythms going on. That's actually called polyrhythm, where you're going to have one hand going quicker than the other, and polyrhythm is great to do and incorporate in different ways instead of just scales, but doing different kinds of melodies too. But that'll be good for us for today. So that is using scales to work on your hand independence. We did obviously the beginner exercise to getting started with this is just knowing your scales and knowing those one-handed scales. Then you can combine them with going both hands in the same direction, both hands opposite directions, coming towards the middle and then going back out. And then we did having one hand start ahead of the other. And then we also did those polyrhythms, one hand twice as fast or one hand 3 times as fast as the other. And that is it for this one. That is using scales more creatively to encourage hand independence past those beginner level stages of just playing them same direction. We want to be able to do different mix-ups here. So I hope that was helpful for you. Have fun playing, and we'll see you next time.